The morning episode of The View was expected to be just another regular broadcast featuring casual banter, celebrity promotion, and occasional hot-button topics. But everything changed the moment Michael B. Jordan, the renowned actor and director, joined the table. Initially welcomed with warm smiles and applause, the mood quickly shifted from friendly to confrontational. Joy Behar, never one to hold back her views, opened the conversation by bringing up Michael's recent comments about Hollywood representation and masculinity in modern cinema. Michael answered confidently, elaborating on the importance of authenticity and breaking stereotypes in film. But as he spoke, Joy interrupted with a sarcastic remark, questioning if his stance was just another PR move to gain favor among activist audiences. The tension in the room grew thick. Sunny Hostin and Sarah N. exchanged uneasy glances, while Whoopi Goldberg leaned back silently. Michael tried to steer the conversation back on track, but Joy wasn't letting it go. She doubled down, referencing past interviews where she felt he contradicted himself. "Michael, are we getting today?" she quipped, sparking murmurs from the audience. Jordan's smile faded as he calmly replied that his opinions had matured and evolved like any thoughtful person's would. Yet Joy continued to press, her tone sharp and unrelenting, accusing him of playing both sides to protect his brand image. Michael's demeanor shifted noticeably. What started as a respectful dialogue was fast becoming a grilling session. He turned to Joy and said, "You're twisting my words and making this personal. This isn't a courtroom." The remark drew an audible reaction from the crowd, with some clapping while others gasped. Joy smirked, leaning in as if she had been waiting for this moment. "Oh, come on, Michael. If you can't handle a few tough questions, maybe you're in the wrong chair," she said, triggering even more tension on set. Whoopi intervened, raising her hand and trying to bring the conversation back to center, but the friction had already ignited. Michael looked at Joy, visibly frustrated, and asked, "What exactly is your goal here? You trying to have a conversation or just provoke a headline?" Joy shrugged, pretending innocence, but her next comment undid any notion of neutrality. She brought up Michael's past relationships, suggesting that his dating history contradicted his public support of black women in Hollywood. "It's just hard to believe someone so vocal hasn't walked that talk," she said. Michael's jaw clenched as he leaned back in his seat, stunned by how personal the attack had become. The audience grew restless. A few audience members shouted, "That's not fair," while others sat in stunned silence. Michael tried to maintain composure, but the frustration in his eyes was clear. "I didn't come here to be psychoanalyzed," he said, his voice calm but firm. "You want to talk about my projects, my work? I'm here for that. But don't come for me like you know my life." Joy rolled her eyes and responded, "If you're going to be a public figure and speak on public issues, expect public scrutiny." That remark seemed to be the final straw. Michael sat forward, his tone now sharper. "There's a difference between scrutiny and disrespect. Joy, and you just crossed that line," Sarah N. tried to interject, hoping to mediate by redirecting the conversation toward Michael's latest directorial project. "Let's talk about your new film," she began. But Michael was no longer in the mood to entertain the discussion. "No, let's be real here," he interrupted. "If this show is about ambushing guests and tearing down every thought they share, then maybe I made a mistake coming on here." The studio was dead silent. Whoopi tried again to salvage the moment, suggesting a commercial break, but the damage had been done. Joy leaned back in her chair, unfazed, sipping water like it was just another Tuesday. Michael looked down, shook his head, then locked eyes with Joy one last time. "Respect matters," he said, "and right now I don't feel any." The next few seconds felt like slow motion. Michael B. Jordan rose from his seat, removing his mic pack, and signaled to the production team off camera. Joy, still seated, crossed her legs and said with a smirk, "Guess we hit a nerve. That jab did not go unnoticed." "You didn't hit a nerve," Michael snapped back. "You showed your true colors." With that, he turned and walked off the stage as the audience erupted in a mix of applause and gasps. Behind the scenes, producers scrambled to manage the situation, unsure whether to cut to a break or let the tension play out live. Whoopi stood up and addressed the audience. "All right, folks, we'll be right back," before throwing it to commercial. The segment cut, but the drama had already made its impact. Social media was flooded within minutes clips of Michael walking off. Joy's smirk and the biting exchanges began circulating rapidly. Hashtags like hashtag Michael on The View and hashtag Team Michael trended immediately. Twitter users criticized Joy's invasive questioning, while others debated whether Michael overreacted. Meanwhile, back on set, the co-hosts sat awkwardly, unsure how to proceed. Joy maintained her nonchalant attitude, saying he'll be fine, while Sunny murmured, "That got too personal." Whoopi, clearly upset, instructed the crew to rearrange the next segment because we need to cool this room down. As the commercial break ended, The View returned with only 4 hosts seated at the table. Michael's empty chair stood as a stark reminder of the blow-up that had just occurred. Whoopi opened the next segment with a subdued tone, acknowledging the situation without diving into specifics. Sometimes conversations get heated. We respect our guests, and we respect their right to leave when they feel disrespected, she said diplomatically. Joy remained quiet for once, her arms folded, expression unreadable. The rest of the show moved forward, but there was a noticeable tension in the air. Michael, meanwhile, was seen leaving the studio through a side exit. Avoiding reporters who had already gathered outside, TMZ, Page 6, and several entertainment outlets picked up the story immediately. By the time the episode finished airing on the West Coast, clips of the altercation had already amassed millions of views. Fans and celebrities began to weigh in. Online, many defending Michael's decision to walk away. Others criticized The View for letting interviews spiral into confrontations. An unexpected voice, Oprah Winfrey, tweeted, "Respect is non-negotiable. Proud of Michael for standing tall." The endorsement sent waves across the internet, adding even more heat to an already boiling media frenzy. By evening, Michael released a short statement on his Instagram, writing, "I value real conversations, even tough ones. But there's a line between dialogue and disrespect." Today, that line was crossed. His post received an outpouring of support with thousands of comments from fans and fellow actors alike. Meanwhile, ABC issued a vague statement saying they support healthy discussion and appreciate all their guests. But insiders claimed the network was internally reviewing the segment after viewers and advocacy groups raised concerns. A Change.org petition demanding Joy Behar apologize had already gained thousands of signatures. Despite that, Joy remained unapologetic. On her personal Twitter, she liked several posts defending her style of questioning and even retweeted a comment saying, "If you can't stand the heat, don't sit at the View table." Her stance drew more criticism, particularly from younger audiences who saw her attitude as emblematic of outdated media gatekeeping. Podcasts and YouTube analysts dissected the exchange frame by frame, calling it a prime example of media hostility disguised as journalism. Meanwhile, former View guests began speaking out anonymously, revealing similar experiences where they felt ambushed or misrepresented on air. The controversy continued into the next day as The View aired again without addressing the incident in full. However, subtle references were made. During Hot Topics, Whoopi said, "Some conversations are worth revisiting later." Once cooler heads prevail, Joy again didn't say much. But according to backstage sources, there was considerable tension among the co-hosts. Sunny Hostin reportedly confronted Joy off camera, saying the line of questioning crossed personal boundaries. Sarah N. agreed, adding that it could discourage future high-profile guests from appearing on the show. Joy allegedly dismissed their concerns, stating, "If they want a softball interview, they can go to late night." That dismissive attitude only furthered the divide among fans. Meanwhile, Michael B. Jordan was photographed at another interview later that week where the host asked him about the View controversy. Michael smiled and simply said, "I know who I am. I'll let the people decide the rest." That level-headed response only boosted his support online. Within 72 hours, more than a dozen entertainment figures had publicly sided with him. From Ava DuVernay to Viola Davis, all condemning what they called ambush journalism. In the days that followed, The View's ratings saw a noticeable spike, proving once again that controversy sells. But along with the ratings came criticism from media watchdog groups and think pieces questioning the ethics of talk show journalism. Articles appeared with titles like "When Dialogue Becomes Damage" and "Is the View Still a Safe Space for Celebrities?" The network remained tight-lipped, but internal leaks suggested producers were reconsidering their approach to guest segments. Joy Behar, however, stood firm in interviews, saying, "I've been doing this for decades. I ask questions. If people are uncomfortable, maybe they should examine why." Her defiance only deepened the rift with some of her